All right, over the next coming weeks and months, I'm going to be coming in and out with a series which I call Who Wrote That Rule series. And we're going to have examples of people that overcome amazing obstacles. And what we say is the lesson to never confuse impossible. A lot of people say this is impossible with what is extremely difficult or challenging, and never let what we can't do or what we don't have interfere with what we do have and what we can do. We do it all the time. I do it, you do it. We have to catch ourselves when this happens. So the very first one is a very famous one at the ranch, and that is the soccer player without any feet. If you can see from the picture, if you look closer, it's a young man from Brazil that does not have any feet, but actually loves the game of soccer and plays soccer in Brazil. Obviously, we know Brazil has a love affair of soccer, and this young man is able to play soccer without any feet. And the reason I love these two pictures is because we have coaches and we have players and we have parents all the time. Whether you're a coach or whether you're a player or whether you're a parent, we have all the time, we say things like, well, he's not tall enough, he's not fast enough, he's not strong enough, he or she isn't blank enough, or he's too blank, he's too big, he's too slow, he's too whatever. And then that is a reason why we can't succeed, or we do not achieve, or we don't try something. And this is a classic case in point is, if you have a big enough why, the how, you'll figure out the how in time. So I always ask my people, is it more difficult to play soccer without feet or with feet? And obviously the answer is without feet is far, far more difficult. Now, is that impossible? Obviously not. He's doing it. So the question that I always ask guys is this: would it be easier for you to gain 5 miles an hour, or to develop a good breaking ball, or develop a good changeup, or develop a good pickoff, or to be able to be more consistent, or be able to have better recovery, to reduce your arm pain, all those things that sometimes come with throwers? Or is it easier to play soccer without feet? Which one is the more difficult task, the more arduous task, the more task that is far more difficult to see the end? Well, obviously it's this. So as I close today's message is this: the fact that you get stuck on velo, that you get stuck on your command, or you get stuck on some little thing, usually says more about that you don't have a big enough why behind what you're doing. If you have a big enough why, you'll figure out how to create the how. The hows are always changing, always changing. If you can imagine, none of us listen to 8-track tapes anymore, or get our vinyl albums and play that. We don't have our phone with a big long cord and we have to be attached. It's different. So the how is constantly changing. It will change again tomorrow. The question is, the why is what's really important. The why behind the how. And sometimes we get stuck and we've convinced ourselves that something is really impossible, or we get focused on what we don't have, or what we can't do. And I would strongly urge everyone to never confuse impossible with what is difficult. There are a lot of things that are very, very difficult, but they're far from impossible. And we should never confuse the two. And then also, never let what you can do or what you do have interfere with what you can't do or what you can't or you don't yet have. And that we do that all the time. So as you're going forward, and whether this is a baseball issue or anything else, this is a great thing to remind yourself. If someone can play soccer without feet, I certainly can do blank. It's not outside my capability, no matter what everybody else says. So until I see you on the next edition of True Stories from the Ranch, This is Coach Wolfworth reminding you to stay curious and keep getting after it.